Hello, this is an Encounters episode. We're really excited because we're going to read you your stories and it's going to be a spooky ball of a time.
Yes, it will. And we're just going to go right into it because I have an email titled Don't Talk Shit About Dolls.
Do you want to say what our podcast is first?
This is Two Girls, One Ghost.
Two Girls, One Ghost.
And now we're going to talk about why you shouldn't. Oh, wait. No, fuck. Okay, keep going. I'll be quiet. You cue me when I can talk again. Okay.
Oh. And we are your ghostesses. That is Corinne, and I am Sabrina. And cue Corinne to tell us a
now
story.
We're gonna talk about why you don't want to talk shit about dolls.
Yes.
So, whoa, sorry. My God, I can't believe I screwed up so much in the beginning.
But hey, be kinder to yourself. Shush to the inner critic.
Okay, you heard it here, everybody. Sabrina's shushing me. I'm gaslighting this year. That's what I'm doing.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
One person finds peace, the other one becomes a tormentor. That's chaos. All right. Hey, girls, ghosts, and lay. I found your pod a few months ago after sadly finishing a little bit grim. I needed something new to fill my long days and love the macabre, and which you two do perfectly, so thank you. I haven't had many encounters, but wanted to share my faves. Most are possibly explainable or just a coincidence, but what's the fun in that? Also, I'll start with the spookiest. When I was a teenager, I went to Illinois with my mom and my grandma for our family reunion. While there, we stayed with my great aunt, I'll just say aunt for typing's sake, at her cute old farmhouse. Not so cute was one of her guest bedrooms, which had a weird secondary room attached that was filled with dolls. Not only on shelves, but also on a rocking chair, one on a tea party table, and one in a freaking crib.
Why do I feel like it's always like this? It's never like, oh, there are just a couple dolls. It's either there's no dolls or there are a ungodly amount of dolls.
We're going to have another, if we search our inbox, we're going to have another email that's like, hi girls, like I collect haunted antique dolls. I even keep one in a crib. And then we're gonna be like, that's so cool. But from this perspective, we're like, that's terrifying. Who would do that?
Yeah. Well, because I think we are predicting that this is going to be a negative experience. So it creeps us out.
It does.
Initially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. After asking my great aunt if she ever had seen a horror movie before, or if she's just a psychopath, she laughed and explained that her sister Rose, who died when my grandma was little, loved dolls and had a big collection that my aunt kept when she passed away.
Okay, that is very sweet.
That is very sweet. Okay, now we understand a little bit more.
Yeah, compassion.
Yes. Look at us being compassionate now, not gaslighting anybody. I told her, that's sweet, but freaking creepy. I'm not sleeping in this room. She laughed again and she said, you won't be sleeping in the basement either then. That's where the rest are. Which I responded to with a look of, how is there more? Oh, hell no.
Wow. I mean, I can't really judge because I'm literally holding a stuffed animal right now.
That's okay though. Stuffed animals. Well, also you have a history of haunted stuffed animals, so we'll see how long this koala lasts.
Yeah.
Fast forward to later that night, we're having some drinks in the kitchen and sharing family stories. My great aunt starts telling us about Rose and a few stories of them as kids. Still not able to drop the whole doll thing, I asked questions like, did she have certain favorites? To take mental note of which ones to keep an eye on, of course. Then the more pressing questions of if weird stuff ever happens with them or if she's ever seen them move. She sassily replied, I'm 80 years old. You think I remember where I put anything? And we all laugh. I start going on about how I could never live in a house with dolls. I've seen way too many horror movies and how creepy they are. And not a minute later, the power to the inside of the house goes out and I about shit myself. My great aunt, not fazed at all, said, must be a storm coming, and told me to go down and flip the breaker in the pantry closet of the basement. Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
I didn't know storms could trip just some of the power either. I protested because I'm scared of the dark. I'm a chicken, especially dark doll storage basements, but was
Again,
outvoted
fair.
because I'm young. I walked down the hall, lit by just the outside lights, fumbling to turn on my phone flashlight before going down the stairs to the pitch black basement. Not knowing where the light switches were, I didn't bother to flip them on for when the power was back. I found the pantry, and of course, the pantry shelves right next to the breaker were filled floor to ceiling with dolls, each in their own display box. I quickly flipped the tripped breakers, and I sprinted up the stairs with that classic feeling of something running up the stairs behind me.
Yep.
When I got upstairs, my mom asked if I got too scared and bailed because the inside lights were still off. Winded after what felt like running for my life, I told them that I flipped them, but there must be a trick to it, so someone else better go try. They told me to put on my big girl pants and go flip them. When I get scared, I get a little panic sarcastic. So as I ran down the stairs, I said out loud, "Okay, Rose, very funny." And I flipped them off and on again, trying to not even look at the dolls. I got back upstairs and the lights were still not on. My family started to get a little annoyed and told me to stop messing around and just turn the lights back on. Half irritated, half pissing myself scared, I went back down. I stood in the pantry for a second and I said to the shelves of dolls, "I'm sorry I was mean and I called you creepy. Can I please turn the lights back on?" I paused, kind of expecting to hear a creepy doll voice in the response, but thankfully, nothing. Then reflipped the breaker, and instantly every light in the basement flicks on. I didn't even know whether to laugh or cry that apologizing worked. Nothing else happened the rest of the trip, and to this day, my family still thinks I was messing with them. And to this day, I have not said anything bad about Rose's dolls within a 2-state radius of my great aunts.
But 2 states away, you can talk as much shit as you want.
Yeah, you got to be 300 miles and you're
just
fine.
Just cross the border and it's like, let me complain about Rose's dolls.
On a lighter note, okay, so we have some reprieve from the creepy dolls here.
Yeah.
On a lighter note, I'm pretty sure one of my work locations is haunted. Nothing too crazy for the most part, just a rare door chiming when it wasn't open, lights flickering, doors creaking, cold spots for just a few seconds, little things like that. I work at multiple salon locations, and this one has always felt different, like the feeling of someone being there, but in a different room, even when no clients are there. It's never felt scary or intimidating, and it's kind of nice feeling a little company since I usually work at this location and work 9 to 11 hours by myself. We play music through speakers while open, and the thing that happens the most often is a song will start playing, and after a couple seconds, it will skip to a different song. If I'm not busy, I'll give a quick, "I agree," and remove the song from the playlist. Or tell him, "Hey, I like that one." I say he because it always felt like a male presence for some reason. After noticing it was often Billie Eilish songs that the music skipped to, I started calling him Billy.
Oh, I love that. And I love that this ghost likes Billie Eilish. Me too, Ghosty.
Same. I also think Billie Eilish would really like hearing this. I feel like she'd be a big fan of a ghost enjoying her music.
Yeah.
The biggest sign, though, was one day a couple years ago, I had to come into work with a really bad cold. Yay, management. I was in the front room sneezing and blowing my nose with some shitty half-ply tissues the company mistakenly bought, and we were trying to get through when I heard a big clatter in the back storage hall. Feeling like crap and knowing no clients were in, so it wasn't someone falling or breaking something, I took my time to walk back there. When I finally went back to see what the noise was, all of the new Kleenex brand boxes I stacked a week prior had been knocked off the shelves and onto the floor, while the shitty bulk boxes were still stacked nicely on the shelf. I was shocked, but opened myself a box of Kleenex and said, "Geez, Billy, okay, I'll use the nice ones. You don't have to be so aggressive about it."
No, but Billy was taking care of her.
He's like, "Enough. I literally see the snot breaking through this other tissue. Gross."
And your poor nose is probably getting so irritated.
Billy is just a caretaking Billie Eilish fan.
Billie Eilish loving ghost.
He still likes to mess with stuff, but nothing has been moved or thrown since. I feel kind of bad, and I hope I didn't scare him into not showing that he's there like that again. I don't mind it at all as long as it's not something being thrown at me. LOL. I try to make up for it with an occasional good morning and goodbye, and thanking him whenever he messes with my podcast audio when I'm on my phone and it's time to get ready to close. I have scared a few of the employees, so I try not to mention it unless they bring it up first. I only have about a week left before I'm leaving for a new job, so I'll be sure to tell him goodbye and to take care of the girls and the salon for me. I hope you get a chance to read these, even if they don't make it onto the pod. Well, now Billie and you have. Thank you for keeping it spooky, and see you on the other side, Tiffany.
I had a moment of like, how many states away are the dolls, Rose's dolls? But I just double checked. It's Illinois. So I think we're safe.
We're safe from the dolls.
Reading this. Although I wonder if anyone listening within 2 states, perhaps they are not safe.
Well, also I'm wondering, were they even the dolls, or was it just Rose being like, okay, you don't have to talk shit about my dolls.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to spook you. You're making fun of my stuff. I'm going to make fun of you right now. I'm going to make you
That's
look.
true. I do like that version of it, because it's like, I just love that Tiffany's great aunt is preserving these dolls for Rose, and Rose is still enjoying them. Like, these were Rose's love, pride and joy in life.
Right. And they're not packed away in some storage box where you can't see them. They're displayed on shelves in the basement. Like, they're still facing out. And then in that spare room, they're I'm assuming out of boxes, like in the crib, in the chair, laying around. So they really are
so well taken care of,
engaging with the space that they're in, which is I'm sure how Rose wanted them to be. I mean, it's a sad thought to think, and not to say I was going to say it's sad to think that something that you love so much that maybe you leave to someone when you pass on could be basically like disregarded and thrown away. Yeah. And it's something that you love so much. But on the flip side, I also have been a person who has like experienced hoarding tendencies because of the guilt I feel if someone gives me something, not keeping it or not displaying it or not doing something. And then you start to lose a little bit of like yourself too, with feeling like you need to do stuff for other people. So it's a hard balance. I see both sides, but I'm glad that Rose gets to that. The great aunt has enough space that she feels comfortable having her own rooms, her own space, and also displaying what belonged to her sister.
I agree. And also, this makes me think, because it kind of going back to what you said, like you said, of, you know, how much do you display something because someone else had sentimental value and thought of you because of it, or gave you something. And I can imagine a world where Rose left all these dolls and Tiffany's great aunt decides, you know what, I don't really care about them. I'm just going to like throw them in boxes, whatever. But then that might anger Rose. Like, and I was trying to think of like what I would give to people that would make me angry if they just trashed them. And I think like my overalls, I'm going to gift them to my children, to my friends. And if they end up in a dumpster or, I don't know, some place that is not where I gave them, I think I would be upset and I would haunt people.
That's actually, I was thinking about not necessarily your overalls, but just I'm such a purger. Like, I go through my stuff I definitely don't make it more than 3 months before auditing some drawer, some section of my closet. Like, I'm constantly going through and making sure everything's utilized and donate stuff all the time. But it made me realize the other day when I was going through clothes, I was like, oh, I should keep some stuff, because like the things that are really nice or the things that do have sentimental value that just don't work for me anymore, like I can keep a few items to have to gift my friends or future kids or whatever, so that they have like vintage items that belonged to me, because right now none of that exists. So I basically was like, okay, I'll keep like maximum 15 items ever, and so I have like 3 items in a bag right now.
And I think
I'm like, okay,
when we have houses, that will be easier to do, but it's hard when you live in an apartment. You're like, I don't have much room to store things.
It is. I feel suffocated, and I really, in the grand scheme of things, don't. Most people would never describe my place as like a hoarding situation, but I just feel like I have too much stuff.
Which makes me think of how I have to clean my apartment after this because it is a bit untidy. I just did laundry and like all my clothes are folded on the bed, but I haven't put them away yet. I'm like,
yes. Yes. Oh, I was seeing a hack. I'm not diagnosed ADHD, but I relate a lot to the TikToks about ADHD. And one of the things that I struggle with when I'm cleaning is I'll half finish everything because I keep moving to a new room. Like if I grab something to put it away,
same.
now I'm in that room and I'm doing something in that room, and then I forget
do that all the time.
Yeah. And so it's a big production, and like I can't just put things away. Like then I start organizing, then I go through like it's
then you dust and you clean, and then you end up somewhere else, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming too. So I'm gonna start here.
And then I'm on Amazon and I'm buying new light bulbs, and then I'm like, let me go through my old light bulbs. Like it just is. It's never ending. But I saw this really good hack that someone who specializes in helping people with ADHD tackle certain tasks that other people don't have trouble tackling and focusing on. She had produced a video specifically about cleaning and said to grab everything that doesn't belong in like where it currently is in one room and put it all in a box. And then you clean all your surfaces and then you go to the box and then you just carry the box and focus on putting everything back from the box.
Oh, so that's so smart.
You might still get distracted putting stuff back in the other rooms, but you've at least already finished the room you started with and intended on finishing.
I think that's why I end up putting all of my stuff that needs to be put away onto my bed, because I need to eventually get into my bed and I can't if there's stuff on it. So then I have to put things away.
My problem is my dresser. I haven't ever decided how I wanted to decorate it. So it's just a lot of open space. So I grab everything from the bed and I shove it on the dresser. And then
it's kind of like when you were a kid, and or at least for me, my mom would be like, okay, clean your room. And I would just like throw things in my closet and be like, I'm cleaned.
Yeah. Yeah. It took me a long time to learn that cleaning is different than organizing, because clean your room to me was, all right, I'm going through every single drawer. I'm looking through every single old photograph. I'm flipping through every photo album. Like took me 13 hours.
What an ordeal. Yeah, I was going to say.
You know, we have a lot of the same habits, but we're learning some new good ones.
Some new ones.
And we get to listen to ghost stories along the way.
Speaking of, I have a story from our listener, Piper, and it's called Meeting My Spirit Guide, Who Might Be a Demon, and a demon trying to contact me when I watch a certain movie, but don't remember the movie.
Oh.
Or don't know the movie. I don't know. We'll find out. Okay. Hi, girls. I wouldn't say I started from the beginning, but I will say I've listened to all of your episodes. I just want to say I'm sending this from my phone, so my grammar might not be the best. Oh, and I'm listening to an episode while I'm writing this. Almost all of my spiritual interactions have happened in my dreams, which I remember 3 on most nights. Whoa, that's a lot of dreams to remember.
Yeah.
Every night. Okay, so I'm going to start with my demon spirit guide. I was about 5 or 6 years old, and let me just say I have very poor memories from my childhood, but these moments I remember clear as day. I had this dream, and it's one of those types of dreams where it feels like it's actually happening and you don't feel like you're asleep. So in my dream, I was sitting in my queen bed playing school with my stuffed animals. An elephant, a dog, and a Care Bear. The time was like early morning, but not so early that the sun was still down. At some point, I decided I would go and ask my dad for breakfast, but before I put my legs over the bed, I look over the side, and a bald, bloody man, at this point, I didn't even see his face yet. He had kind of olive skin tone. I, in my 5-year-old state, sees this man sit on the corner of my bed that is also in the corner of the wall. Now, you'd think my brain at this point would trigger me to wake up, but no. I sit there, beating as fast as a race car, and what seems like an eternity passes, and nothing happens. So I slowly crawl over the side of my bed when the man pops up, causing me to jump back. We make eye contact, and his eyes were the only thing I remember about his face. His eyes were as red as blood, and I realized he was covered in blood. He said 3 words to me. You are special. And then I woke up. Now I'm 5 when I had this dream, and normally I assume I should have woken up screaming and crying. But no.
Yeah.
I just woke up like I had a light sleep, Finding Nemo on my TV, and it was still dark outside. As years passed, I met someone who I told the dream about, and she said it might have been my spirit guide, but also he might be a demon. So you guys can take that apart as you will. Now, the demon trying to contact me from the movie. Now, I haven't the godly knowledge of what this movie is. It might have been Indiana Jones movie, but it has happened twice. I was a slightly younger version of myself playing on a playground. Though it's like a tornado is happening, but the playground has some shield from the wind. I look under the playground, it's pitch black. Like not a shade from the sun, but more space black, with 2 red eyes, not to be confused with the spirit guide from the first story. But this thing seemed to be trying to get me to go under into this darkness with it. I resisted until the end, in which I do go under, but I wake up before I go. I had this exact dream twice. That's it from me. Say hi to Spooky Cat for me, and stay spooky, my friends, from Piper.
It's so weird to think about the image that Piper saw of this demon man with blood all over his face, but then get the message that you are special. I want to know, here's what we don't get in email. We don't get to hear how it was said, because saying like you are special is so much creepier than like you're special.
Yeah.
You know? So I want to know the intonation. I want to know how this person
send us voice
memos.
Yeah,
give us the voice memos.
Yeah, tell us how it was said.
Because that totally changes, like, was it a demon?
Yeah.
Was it a spirit guide? Is a spirit guide also a demon that just happens to be a good
it's kind of like what Ariel Willow has told us. She has demon spirit guides.
Right.
So it's very possible that it's the same situation for Piper. I don't know how things work, but sounds like Piper has not seen this entity since. So I don't know. Maybe it's now lurking in the background of Piper's life because they realized how terrifying they appeared to be.
I also wonder too if the whole, like, we're looking at it from the perspective of demons being bad, right? Like, we're thinking demons are bad. This guy has blood all over his face. This can't be any good news. Like, there's something trying to get her to go like through the tunnel or whatever. Like, that all seems creepy. But what if we change the lens that we're viewing this as? And what if he's just this image is an unlikely, well, also biblically, if we talk about angels, they're very scary looking. So I'm almost wondering if like going through the tunnel is a spiritual awakening. Like, just keep swimming and you'll be super enlightened. Like, everything will make sense. You'll be
just keep swimming.
Just
to the demons.
To the demons. Yeah, I mean, I guess you don't know what's on the other side. But
demons are friends, not food.
I mean, clearly Piper is swimming. Didn't Piper say that? Like, going through the tunnels? So
yeah. But Piper wakes up every time. Yeah, we don't know.
Right.
We do not know.
Okay. I have one called Haunted Cafe, Ghost Children, and Baker Bill.
Oh, Baker Bill. That seems like a fun name.
We have another fun haunted work site, basically.
And another Bill. This is the Bill episode. Bill. Hey, spooky girls. I just listened to your keg episode about the haunted restaurant, which gave me flashbacks from being a waitress and forgetting everyone's ranch. I used to work at a small, well-known breakfast cafe that had the best cinnamon rolls. We were really well known for our giant, delicious meals and our friends from the other side. The building was a very old school from the early 1900s. The top floor was a gym, and the bottom, which is where the restaurant is, was where the school cafeteria was located. The cafe walls and floors were original. Let me introduce you to the ghost. The kids. There were a handful of kids that would run around and giggle in the bathroom. It was so creepy to be alone, closing, and hear kids running. One time I was at the sink
when I felt someone pull my ponytail really hard. I turned around to yell at my coworker, just to realize that no one was there. I assume it was some of the kids trying to get my attention, but it spooked me for sure.
It also feels like a bully move to like pull your
Right?
ponytail.
They must be daring each other, I'm sure.
Or a ghost that has a crush because
yes, yeah,
boys were
I know.
so mean.
Kids are. There should be like a flirting 101 class in kindergarten.
Yeah.
No pushing, no shoving, no attacking each other.
Yeah.
My boyfriend was one of the bakers, and early in the morning, he would hear the kids running and laughing, and he would yell, "Stop it!" And they would be quiet for the rest of the time that he was there.
They were scolded.
They were. You stop running! They would also play tricks on us and hide things that we were looking for, such as the jam scoop and important keys. Baker Bill is another one of the spirits here. In the 90s, our longtime head baker, Bill, had a heart attack and he died in the bakery.
Oh my
His last words were, "Can someone take the cinnamon rolls out of the oven?"
Oh.
Majority of the recipes that we have are named after Bill, as he really loved what he did. That being said, I was a baker there on the weekend, and Bill would turn the ovens off, stop the mixer, and stand in the hallway. We would just feel a very judgmental presence watching us, as well as seeing a dark shadow. I feel like he knew that I was new, and he was just keeping a close eye on me to make sure I was following his recipes correctly. He was a nice ghost. He just had a tough old grandpa vibe.
No.
The scariest thing he did was sit in the cafe and walk down that hall, which scared our manager so bad. She immediately clocked out and had to come back early the next morning to finish her paperwork. Well, that's it for now. I am also in my B era and will send more stories soon. For now, see you gals on the other side. Jess.
I love to picture Bill and all of these kids and like Bill reading bedtime stories to the kids and also being like reprimanding of the kids of like behave.
Yes.
And then watching everyone, with his like fists on his hips, kind of like, are you all doing what I taught you?
I feel like he must have gotten the warmest reception too when he passed, because assuming that all of these little ghost kids have been here for a very long time, like they probably associate him as the man who makes the place smell really good. Like he makes the cinnamon rolls. And so I'm just imagining like when he passed and he is now in the astral plane, like all the little kids being like, "Bill, it's Bill, it's Bill," and just being so excited to have him there.
That just made my mouth water thinking about cinnamon buns. Like,
I'm like, the icing, the cinnamon.
Oh, I want it all.
I just want the fillings of all the dessert. I want to just buy the cinnamon and the icing. I want to buy the baklava filling. Like, I just want the frosting. I just want the mousse.
Interesting. See, I'm more of the baked good part.
You're a bread girl.
Like whenever I have cupcakes or cake, I don't like the frosting. Unless it's cream cheese frosting. That's the only one I like.
Cream cheese. Well, Sabrina, actually, this is a perfect partnership, you and I, because you'll take the cake part and I'll take the frosting.
Yeah, lovely.
Everyone is like
needs a frosting gal to their cake.
Nikita, my friend Nikita, and I, when we worked at the same company, they had hard-boiled eggs, and she would actually no, I think Nikita brought them in. And she would only eat the egg whites. And so she'd give me the egg yolks. And I would just eat the egg yolks. Which, like, if you came back to it, like, that's kind of, I shouldn't have been doing that. Maybe I should have also had egg whites.
Yolks
but
aren't
alas,
that bad. I mean, yeah.
No, but I was taking down a lot of them every day. Like, this was the daily snack. And then fast forward a few years later, and both Nikita and I have eggs on our like list of we have like strong sensitivities to, and we're like,
oh no,
curse! All the years we were just taking down eggs, you and I.
It's probably why you're so sensitive to them now.
Maybe.
You've had too many.
I know.
Okay, so I'm sorry in advance, but I am reading a scary story at the end. It's from our listener, Katie, and it is called The Creepiest Ghost Encounter I Have Ever Experienced.
Wow, ever.
Hi, Ghostesses. I found your podcast about 9 months ago and love listening to it. When I was a kid, I had a ton of experiences with the paranormal. And even now, I am still having experiences here and there. But this is a story from my teen years. I was at my sister's house waiting for her to get ready to go out with her husband on a date, and she asked me to come over and babysit my baby nieces. It was early evening and the kids were already asleep in their nursery. So before we get into the meat and the potatoes of this story, I want to note that this house she was in was one of the creepiest places I have ever been. It was set up like this. You walk into the kitchen and go through it to the dining room, and on the left wall of the dining room was a doorway to the living room and the hall where all the bedrooms and bathrooms were. So it was kind of like a walk through everything to get to the bedrooms. There was a couch at the back of the living room set up perpendicular to the hall. No wall here, so it kind of looked like an upside down T. The first door on the left of the hall was the main bathroom. And now prior to this encounter, I had always had dreams when I slept over that room was covered in blood. Blood on the walls, blood on the mirror, even blood overhead on the light. At the end of the hall was a bedroom that also always creeped me out. My sister decided to just use it for storage so that she wouldn't have to go in there, which is saying a lot because we grew up in a haunted house that the site was allegedly a makeshift Civil War hospital. More on that later if you're interested. Absolutely.
Yes.
So anyway, my sister was freaked out enough that she kept that storage room door closed always. So back to the story. My sister was in the shower in the main bathroom, the one on the left, and I was laying on the couch just waiting for her to go out. When I hear it, I hear her calling my name. Katie. So I called out, "What?" To which my sister yelled from the bathroom, "What?" I shook my head and ignored her and laid back down. She has a history of doing stuff like that just to annoy me because sisters, am I right? But then it happened again. "Katie." And I said, "What?" It happened 10 times, always in her voice. Finally, I was so mad, I jumped up, I opened the bathroom door and said to her while she's still in the shower, "Why are you calling me?" She was confused and said, "Katie, I am not calling you. Go, I need to get ready." I was so mad, I stomped back to the couch, unconvinced. And then the most chilling thing happened. I heard her again. "Hey," her voice said. I sat up and looked over the back of the couch, down the hallway, and the door to the back storage room slowly creeped open, and a voice said, "Come here."
No.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
go
a
in
hard
there.
pass. So
This
years
is
later,
the movie Barbarian.
Yeah, yes. Years later, we had forgotten the exact address, but we were thinking about the house, so we looked up the street and learned that years before she lived there, she's living somewhere else now, an adult son had sadly murdered his mom in her house on that street. He had stabbed her in the bathroom. And remember, Katie had seen like blood.
Yeah.
Stay spooky. Let me know if you want me to send more. See you on the other side, Katie.
Oh, that is so sad. That is so sad.
I know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she was seeing the room covered in blood. So that's.
Yeah. And it sounds like it wasn't even exactly that house. Or maybe it was. I'm not sure. But if that's the case, then like this dark energy and like residual sadness and trauma is clearly permeating the entire street, not just one house.
Yeah. I know. And then the calling out, the Katie, it makes me. It obviously sounded both like it was coming in her sister's voice, but it must have sounded like it was coming from the bathroom too, because she knew her sister was in the bathroom and didn't. It's not like it was another part of the house where she's like, "Oh shit, who is that?" You know. So it makes me think.
Which to me is like negative, scary, something.
Yeah,
mimicking.
but it also just reminds me of like the mom, like almost calling out for help, like trying to get the attention of bad things could happen in the bathroom.
I know, but the come here.
That's true.
Is
You're right.
ominous.
You're right. Yes, it is. And it like creaking open. Come here. No. No, thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Well, if you hear anything from your apartment when you're alone, or something mimicking your friends and family, or just, I don't know, anything paranormal, creepy, supernatural, please email them to us at twogirlsoneghostpodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you to all of you for listening. We very much appreciate all of you.
Yes.
And we will see you on the other side.
Very spooky.